Breaking news on this Thursday, it's a big payday in the NBA with the Golden State Warriors signing superstar Steph Curry to a one-year extension that will pay him $62.6 million. That is according to ESPN. With this deal in place, Curry's contract with the Warriors will now run through the 26-27 season, which at that point he'll be 39 years old. Curry averaged better than 26 points a game this past season and was named the league's clutch player of the year. Of course, he also had a busy summer leading Team USA to the gold medal at the Paris Olympics. Just add paycheck to the list of things Steph Curry did this summer as we bring in our NBA insider, Bill Ryder, to discuss. All right, Bill, he had 2 years left on that deal that was paying him. Words are hard today. Wow. 2 years left on a deal that paid him $215 million. That's now been extended. What are your thoughts here on the latest extension to Steph Curry?
Yeah, Haley, my thoughts are on top of it being very good news for Steph Curry, right? A little more money in the bank account than he's certainly earned. One of three players now in the history of the sport who will earn $500 million or more just from their NBA contracts. I think it's good news for the Warriors and good news for sports fans. There's not much of a plan in Golden State, not an easy path forward to success, but whatever path there is, it has to include Stephen Curry, even down the line in this extra year that takes him through age 39. This is the longest that they could extend him. And I think it's good news for the rest of us. We talked about Klay Thompson during the break before we were visiting on live TV, and how weird it's going to be to see him be a Maverick. We've seen LeBron move around, players changing as part of the deal, but there's something iconic and that just feels right about Curry being a Warrior. And the fact that he's going to remain in Golden State for as long as they can lock him down, it just feels right as a basketball fan who has gotten used to seeing his greatness with this specific team and that specific organization.
Yeah, it's good that they kept him around because obviously the other half of the Splash Brothers is now elsewhere. Klay Thompson, of course, in Dallas, which, like we talked about, still feels weird. But regardless, they do keep Steph around. So what do you make of the Warriors' outlook now that they have him for a little bit longer?
It's complicated, sort of like the Lakers, I think season is tricky, like the Clippers is tricky, maybe like some up-and-coming teams, like Houston is tricky. You could see Golden State, I think, finishing anywhere, if I'm being really optimistic, between 5 and 6 and as low as 11. When you get past really the top four teams in the Western Conference, Haley, including the Warriors, particularly the Warriors, because of their pedigree and what we expect from them, there's a world where they're fighting for that play-in. Again, you're right. No Klay Thompson, not the player that he used to be, but a critical part of what they do. Not a lot of depth there, not a lot of scoring help for Stephen Curry. They brought in some bit pieces and some guys. Buddy Hield's one of the examples. But I think you're looking at a Warriors team that needs an aging Steph Curry to do over the course of 82 games and beyond what he did at the Olympics at the end for Team USA, and that is carry these guys with his greatness, take over games, dominate these moments that they're going to even have a chance of being competitive. We know that he can do it, but that's a lot to ask someone who's at the later stages of their career.
Yeah, and it's important to note, too, it's a one-year extension. It can only be 1 year because of the NBA's new 38 rule there. So obviously it could only be a 1 year. But kind of going back to what we talked about at the beginning here, he's going to be 39 years old by the time 27 rolls around. So, and maybe this is just like, looking way too much into this here. But could this potentially be the final extension we see for Steph Curry at that point? Because, again, Father Time is not slowing down.
Undefeated. I mean, 6 years ago, I would have jumped in. Hell yeah, this is the last one. But we've got LeBron's going to be 40. We saw Tom Brady play forever. I mean, the sort of limits that guys can play in these sports have obviously been extended. And there was a time not that long ago, Haley, when if you were a medium-sized, slight of stature for an NBA player, point guard or guard, 32 is when you hit that wall. And so obviously things have changed. Yes, I think this is the last time that we're going to see Steph Curry get a contract where you're talking tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars per year. But if he has the desire and the hunger to keep playing, I can certainly see the Warriors keeping him around 3 years from now. But at the level that he is playing now, as the leader of a team, as a guy that I think can still be the best player on a competitive team at least, this is the last time I think that version of Steph Curry is going to get this kind of contract.
Look, as long as we just keep seeing this celebration on the court, I think everyone is going to be good at home. Our Bill Ryder breaking down the latest extension for Steph Curry and the Warriors. Bill, thanks for having on HQ with us.
Have surged since the Olympic break, going 3-1 since the season resumed. What can you point to that is really accredited to their success so far?
A couple things. Their chemistry got better over that Olympic break. They're a better defensive team now than they were prior. They were 11th in defensive rating before the Olympic break. They've moved up to 8 since then, and their backcourt has been absolutely terrific. We know that Caitlin Clark kind of found her groove right before the Olympics, double-digit assists she was handing out. And then Kelsey Mitchell has been wonderful. She's scored 4 games with 20-plus points since the Olympic break. She's shooting it at a high percentage. She's had 20 points in 6 of her last 7 games, and she's averaging 4 made threes in that stretch. And as far as Caitlin Clark goes, her efficiency has been better. She's shooting 46% since the Olympic break. Her turnovers also have been down a bit, coming off a game against Atlanta where she tied a season low for only 2 turnovers in that game. So better defensively, better chemistry offensively.
Yeah, the Fever have been rolling. They are 11-6 over the last 17 games, and Indiana's tied for the 4th best record in the WNBA during that span. Rebecca, you stay right there. Let's bring in our sports betting analyst, Aaron Dolan, right now. And Aaron, I just talked about how the Indiana Fever, they're rolling right now, taking on the Connecticut Sun tonight, and that's a team that has championship aspirations. What's your best bet for this game?
So we're going to do a same game parlay. For those that don't know what that is, it's when you combine 2 or more bets. So the first leg that we're going to go with here is we're going to go with the Indiana Fever plus 3.5. Rebecca Lobo just talked about it. They've been much better defensively, as well as the chemistry getting better on offense. And they've also been really good against the number at home as of recently. 8-2-1 ATS in their last 10 home games. And they've been better as of recently, winning 5 of the last 7 games. So I'll take the points there. And then we're going to go with Caitlin Clark over 18.5 points. Now, she has struggled against this team in the 3 meetings that they've had, but the last meeting was June 10th, and she's been good since the Olympic break, hitting over this mark in all 4 of those games. Now, this is a one-way market that's available. This isn't her player points prop, which is 19.5, but because this is juicy, we add this in with the Fever plus 3.5, and you can get this at plus 150 if I can move this up on here. If it wants to move, which it's not, but it is at plus 150. It's plus 150.
Yeah, we're going to just imagine that.
Just imagine that. See, like, I did go to college, but, you know, I can't get it up there.
Look, I have a hard time with the touchscreen as well. That's why I give Tyler the magic little string that we use to just get that up there. But we'll give it to you next time.
Here we go.
We're going to try one more time. There we go. See?
There we go. Magic. Plus 150. Thought we were going with the numbers there. That's what a same game parlay is. 2 or more bets into 1.
You talked about Caitlin Clark in the 3 matchups versus the Connecticut Sun so far. Caitlin is averaging about 16 points per game, 39% from the field, and 6 turnovers per game against the Sun when she played that team. All right. Thanks so much, Aaron. And then, guys, you take a look at this right here. And you take a look at what's happening with this WNBA team. The playoff race is heating up. We have just over 3 weeks left in the regular season. The top 3 teams have already clinched their spots, with the Liberty cruising towards the 1 seed. The Sky are just 1 game up on the Dream for the final spot. Our analysts give Chicago a 62% chance to make the postseason. Rebecca Lobo still back here with us. And Rebecca, the Sky, they haven't had the best of luck like this Indiana Fever team, but what's been holding back this Sky team as they make this playoff push?
Well, keep in mind, this is a Sky team that right before the Olympic break traded away Marina Mabrey. So right now, their issues are on the offensive end of the floor. They're 11th in points scored per game, 11th in field goal percentage. And after that Marina Mabrey trade, they only have 2 players left on the roster scoring in double figures. That's Kennedy Carter, who's at around 17 points a game, and of course, Angel Reese, who's at 13.5. So when this trade was made, the indication to me was that this was a Chicago front office that was taking this season as a rebuild year, and that they were looking to potentially get into a position where they could get a lottery pick in next year's draft. Teresa Weatherspoon there.
Hello fans, as we've seen, Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards is a breath of fresh air that the NBA needs. A precocious 24-year-old who isn't afraid to speak his mind, just as he isn't afraid to complete a massive dunk over the gridiron of the league's best rim protectors. The Atlanta, Georgia native recently caused a huge firestorm among the league's pioneers when he claimed that outside of the iconic Michael Jordan, no one else had much skill. Anthony Edwards' words didn't go down well with the old guard. In particular, Hall of Fame point guard and 5-time NBA champion Magic Johnson took exception, saying he believes someone who hasn't won a title isn't worth their attention. I never respond to a guy who hasn't won a championship. There's nothing to say. He hasn't won a college championship. I don't even know if he's won a high school championship, Magic responded. Speaking on First Take, renowned sportscaster Stephen A. Smith backed Magic, emphasizing that what Ant said was completely disrespectful to the players who helped pave the way for him to succeed today. The veteran journalist said Magic was within his rights to say what he did. While today's players are undoubtedly more skilled and talented due to the evolution of the game, it's important to remember and show respect to the legends who paved the way. They're fair game. He's a 5-time champion, universally recognized as the greatest point guard in the history of basketball, Stephen A. Smith said when asked about his thoughts on Magic's rebuttal to Anthony Edwards' comments. Edwards' feelings were clearly out of line, as he didn't have to look far for examples of skilled players during the Jordan era. Larry Bird wasn't skilled? Magic? Isaiah Thomas was one of the most skilled guards in the history of basketball. Magic Johnson was 6 feet 9 inches, a 6 feet 9 inches point guard. We'd never seen anything like him, Smith emphasized. When you come out with a statement that, the only skilled player was Michael Jordan, that's blatantly disrespectful to the old guard. Stephen A.'s main contention was that without the spectacular play of Magic, Julius Erving, Hakeem Olajuwon, and many others, today's superstars may never have had the chance to reach their potential. Iconic players like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James benefited from the foundation laid by those who came before them. One of the things I pay attention to is that I'm very apt to bring up the fact that if it weren't for the pioneers, the others wouldn't be what they are, he said. Smith pointed out, before there was Dr. J, there was Connie Hawkins, to cry out loud. Before there was Michael Jordan, there was Dr. J. Before there was Vince Carter, there was MJ. Before there was Kobe Bryant, and things like that came after. The world of basketball is constantly evolving, and today's players are undoubtedly more skilled and talented than ever before, thanks to advancements in coaching, training, and technology. However, amid all the excitement and hype surrounding the current generation of players, it's essential to remember the legends who helped pave the way for their success. Now we want to hear your opinion. Who's right, Anthony Edwards or Stephen A. Smith? Leave your opinion in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for following NBA News on TV.